बनो राजयोगी, राजयोगी बनो राजयोगी, मेरे प्यारो बनो राजयोगी, राजयोगी बनो राजयोगी। जिंदगी में परम शांति होगी, मेरे प्यारो बनो राजयोगी, राजयोगी बनो राजयोगी। मन का दर्पण दमकने लगेगा, आत्मचिंतन चमकने लगेगा। मन का दर्पण दमकने लगेगा, आत्मचिंतन चमकने लगेगा। योग पथ पर जरा चल के देखो, सारा जीवन महकने लगेगा। सारी काया हो, सारी काया बनेगी निरोगी, मेरे प्यारो बनो राजयोगी, राजयोगी बनो राजयोगी। योग मानव को संयम सिखाता, संतुलन आचरण
में। Om Shanti. We all are very much pledged that we have Sister Maureen with us. She is serving Brahma Kumaris in London for the last 40 years with a strong heart and cool mind. So we all want to wave one hand and invite her for this wonderful class. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Om Shanti to everyone. Good evening. And also to those watching. So yes, I've been here in Kolkata for, I think it's 3 days, but it feels like 3 weeks or 3 months. When you come to a place and you feel comfortable, it feels very special. So our topic is meditation for a peaceful lifestyle. And I noted the word peaceful lifestyle. We can't promise you meditation for a peaceful life, but we can promise you meditation for a peaceful lifestyle because the world is full of peacelessness. So I can't say to you, or nobody here can say to you, after you meditate, your life will become full of peace. Because many things will happen, many challenges will happen. They already happen, they will continue to happen, right? The world's not suddenly going to change. Well, it is changing, actually. But your response to the challenges around you are what can change. And so it's so important to understand what it is that is within my control and what it is that is outside of my control. Because too often we spend a lot of time trying to change things that are outside of our control. And what happens? You get a headache, basically. People will do what they need to do, whether it's your brothers, sisters, children. You want them to behave in a certain way, you want them to do a certain thing, you try to make them do it. And my experience is, if I try to make somebody do something because that's the way I want it to be, it's like me imposing my will on them. And what happens is that they actually start doing the opposite. Is that your experience too? Right. And the moment you let go and you say, doesn't matter, let them do what they like, then they might start doing what you wanted them to do. You think, why didn't you do that before? But you see, you created a resistance. Nobody likes being told what to do, right? Anybody like being told what to do? I don't like people to tell me what to do. I can be a bit stubborn. If somebody tells me walk quickly, I'll walk more slowly. But if somebody explains to me with understanding, gives me the understanding of the situation, the reasoning, definitely I'm very happy to do whatever it is that is asked of me. Because if you try to force someone, well, you're actually not respecting the person. But if you actually help them to understand what's a good way of living, then that's with respect. I think I've been very fortunate that I've been with people who believed in me. They could see things in me that I couldn't see, and they encouraged me. And I think it's the greatest gift you can give somebody, to be able to encourage them to be the best that they can be. They may not do what you think you want them to do, but they can be the best that they can do in what they need to do. So meditation is about many things. It's about understanding the self. It's about understanding people. It's about understanding the dynamics of the interrelationship between people. There's a lot of dynamics. And so much exchange happens not just through actions or through words, but through vibrations. And vibrations come from our thoughts. You can feel if somebody's not happy with you, right? You know it, you feel it. They may say, no, everything's fine, but the vibration you get is very different. And you say, what is it? What's wrong? What have I done? No, nothing. But you know something's wrong, right? You've experienced this. You know, we think that we can hide our thoughts and feelings. We cannot hide them. We just cannot. And so vibrations speak louder than words. And the vibrations come from our thoughts. When you come into a place like this, you feel a peaceful vibration, right? Why? Because the people who live here, the people who come here, the people who volunteer here, they all are having a peaceful state of mind. Maybe not all the time. You know, I was saying this morning that sometimes because you teach meditation, or you may have some responsibility in a spiritual organization, people think you should be perfect. Well, I'll let you into a secret. Nobody here is perfect. But everybody is making a very sincere effort to be the best that they can be. And that is the atmosphere that you feel. And it feels comfortable and it feels safe. There are very few places in this world where you can feel safe. Would you agree? This is the world at the moment. But you come to a place like, excuse me, you come to a place like this and you feel safe. I remember somebody came for a program at our centre, and he brought his mother along, and his mother left her handbag somewhere in the main hall, and I said, okay, let's look for it, I'm sure it's safe. And he said, she said actually, even if I put it in the middle of the hallway, it would be safe. I mean, sometimes you don't know who comes and goes, but that feeling, that vibration of safety is very comforting to the heart. So I need that vibration of safety. How can I give that to others? So you can see how important it is to focus on our thoughts, our thinking. And where do our thoughts come from? We have many kinds of thoughts, right? Sometimes it feels like there's a whole storm going on in here. And, you know, the mind can be very stormy. Can go this way, can go that way. And of course, thoughts and feelings are very closely connected. So if you think in a certain way, you feel in a certain way. If you think about something that happened to you that made you unhappy, that feeling returns to you, right? And if you think about something that made you happy, that feeling returns to you. So you can see that we have choices actually. But our thoughts very often come from the outside and are very much connected with our senses. So I see something, I start to think about it. You know, you see somebody in the street, you don't know them, but they remind you of somebody you know. You start thinking of that person. They may be in Australia or Brazil, then your mind goes there, and then you remember when you went there, then you remember, right? You saw one person who looked and reminded you of someone, and your mind is off around the whole world. Who's experienced that? We all do, right? You hear something, your mind starts to think about it. So our senses give us, our mind is very much connected with the senses. And what happens is that, okay, like with the example I just gave, you see one thing, you don't just think about it as it is, but the mind goes off into a whole imagination. Big imagination. And most of the time, we are imagining what it is that other people think about us. We want the approval of others. Is that really going to give us any happiness? Because somebody will approve of me today and I'll feel very happy. And tomorrow, if they insult me, you know, we say Om Shanti. Then I will feel very bad. And I will feel very let down because I allowed my happiness to be dependent upon them and their mood and their way of whatever they said or did. So the mind gets very influenced. The thoughts come from the outside and overtake us. And thoughts also come from the inside. Thoughts come from past memories, past experiences. So the poor mind just runs from here to there to everywhere. And the self, me, I'm just running after my mind, right? Actually, this is what stress is about. When you think too much about something and you can't pull your mind back from it. And stress, I mean, just now we were talking about diet and the impact on health, which is absolutely connected. But also your thoughts have an impact on your health too, right? Looking at my doctor friend. And so if your thoughts are very stressful, it will impact the way the body functions. And of course, if your thoughts are happy thoughts, it will impact your body, your health too. And Daddy Janki, who many of you have heard about, the administrative head, our head of spiritual head, she actually passed away just as the COVID began, March 2020. She passed away at the age of 104. She was amazing. But why she lived so long? She did have quite a lot of illness, but she knew how to help her body heal. She paid attention to diet, but she in particular paid attention to her thoughts. She did not waste her thoughts. And this is just another aspect, that thoughts and time are very closely connected. So if you don't waste your thoughts, you will not waste your time. You know, if you worry about something, you can't, you know, something that should take you half an hour will take you 2 hours. And if your thoughts are focused, then you can do twice the work in half the time. But she used to say that there's a very deep connection between the thoughts and the breath and the energy. So if I think fast, what happens to my breathing? And then what happens to my energy? I don't have energy. And if I'm thinking calmly, my breathing is calm and my energy is good. I have more energy. And we need energy in life, right? Lots to do. This world is very, very demanding. So how do we take care of our thoughts? Fundamentally, when you look at it, our thoughts are also connected to our identity. Right? If I think I'm a doctor, just because I met my friend just now, if I think I'm a businessman, if I think I'm a teacher, I will think of myself in that way, and my thoughts will move in that direction. Right? And sometimes we play different roles, so sometimes we're a mother, father, friend, consumer, etc. But we have a certain consciousness of who we are. And the thing is that because our thoughts are connected with our identity becomes very, very important. Now, sometimes it becomes too important. So, for example, and I can't come out of that identity. So if somebody is, works as a teacher, right? Then they go home to their family and they can't forget that they're a teacher, and they try to teach their children and their wife or their husband. What's going to be the result? Not going to be very happy. We can't, unless when we are too caught up in our identity, it's difficult for us to then act appropriately. And we do act, we play many roles. But if we really want a peaceful lifestyle, and we want to really understand meditation, we have to come back to the identity that is behind all the roles that we play. Because every identity, every relationship carries expectations and obligations. And it feels like a bondage at times. We want to fulfill our duties, definitely. And we're always taught that, to fulfill our duty to our parents, to our family, whatever it may be. But I mustn't feel that, if I feel that sense of obligation or pressure, then I'm not going to feel happy. So what can help us is to come back to the identity behind the roles. And I know some of you would have taken up the course, Raj Yoga course, but the identity behind the roles is the real self, is we call the soul, the Atma. You can say consciousness, but Atma is the best term to use. And the soul is the energy that drives this body. When the soul leaves the body's lifeless. You try speaking to a corpse, it's not going to listen to you. If it responded, I think you'd run away. But yes, excuse me, the soul is the energy that drives this body, including the organs, which is why the energy of the soul is so important. And I have to keep that energy good. I have to go into that deep realization of who I am. Be comfortable. So our first step in meditation is to take our thoughts away from the external, and even take our thoughts away from all the memories and old ideas, and because actually all those memories have come from the external, right? Anyway. But our first task is to take our thoughts to the original, eternal self, the soul. So when we first meditate, we begin to create thoughts, elevated thoughts, about our original self. When you first learn, you are told this, right? I am a soul. I look through these eyes. I hear through these ears. I speak through this mouth. This is my vehicle. This is my costume. But it is not me. And so that's a great relief. I found it a great relief when I first understood that. And the original nature of the soul is peace. And that applies to every single human being on the earth. People are very peaceless, but their original nature is peace. We've gone so far from that original nature, and we are suffering the consequences of that. Our world is in a lot of upheaval. The environment is in a lot of upheaval. Why? Because of the negative vibrations that we've been giving to nature all these many years. It's almost like nature can't hold this anymore and is just in revolt. We wanted to dominate. As we said earlier, you try to dominate, control, it backfires. We try to dominate nature and the elements. Now we're experiencing the consequences. So I have to come back to my original nature of peace. And when we make that nature strong, then we're able to let it overtake the negativity in the self. I was with the group this morning and there were some questions, and I was saying the important thing is if your mind is in a negative state, don't try and battle with it. Do you battle with your mind sometimes? Oh, I shouldn't think like this, I shouldn't think like that. And we used to do a course, actually we still do it, a course in positive thinking called Make Your Mind Your Best Friend. And I remember when I used to take the course in the 90s, and I remember one person's telling me, sometimes I take a whip and I hit my mind. I thought, oh dear. When we battle with those thoughts, the thoughts become stronger, right? So I have to be at that moment when my mind is filled with negativity, I have to be kind to myself and kind to my mind. Do you think you can do that? And say to my mind, it's okay, never mind, like a child. And say to the mind, okay, I understand things have upset you today. I understand you're reacting. Okay, don't worry, be calm. You know, we talked this morning as well about self-talk. Self-talk is so important. And if you talk to yourself and to your mind in a kind way, you'll be able to make your mind calm down. We all need these little mantras. I've been here with my cousin brother these 3 days, and he's picking up Hindi. He learnt some from his father, and he keeps saying, ahiste, 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 it's okay, it's okay. Very sweet. But he keeps his mind very calm. Everything will be all right. Everything will be fine. So when we're kind to ourselves, we have a chance to then redirect our thoughts. So don't waste your energy battling, but saying, okay, now what can I do to elevate my thoughts, elevate my mind? And that's where we begin to think of soul consciousness. I am a being of peace. I am a being of love. I am a being of wisdom. Now, isn't that a beautiful identity? It's better than being a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a house, anything. It's better than anything in the world. And on top of that, I am God's child. Oh, I feel so happy just saying it. And so when we think about that identity, and then we start to interact in life, then yes, we begin to experience a peaceful lifestyle. Because when things come to us, we first, and this is something very important, don't rush into anything. Sometimes I'm guilty, I do rush, I make mistakes, we all do. But what I like to do is keep calm, pause. Pausing is very important. You know about pausing, the power of pause. Situation comes, give a little bit of a gap, even if it's seconds, between you, the situation, and your response. If you put a little bit of a gap, the response will be very different. No gap, and you'll just react. And then there'll be a lot of, argument or whatever it is. And it also allows you to be able to fill that relationship with respect. Because if somebody's negative, you have to understand that they are hurting inside, right? So I need compassion also. They say, hurt people hurt people. And if also you're able to put that pause, you're practicing soul consciousness, you're also able to have the humility to learn. I remember one situation, it was early morning and I was sitting in our meditation room at our center, and I could hear some raised voices downstairs, and obviously somebody had come to the door or something. So I went down, and people downstairs, somebody had come, he was drunk, it was 4 a.m., 4:15 in the morning, and this man was quite drunk. I want to come in, or whatever he was saying, can't remember all the details now. And the people downstairs were trying to say, no, you can't come, and he was getting more angry. So I said, okay, just wait. So I paused. Then I went up to the man and I said, I'm so sorry, but we're closed now. Could you come back at 9 o'clock? And he said, oh, okay, and off he went. I just showing someone some respect. And then, okay. You know, in one of the prisons in the UK, there was a research project done by a psychiatrist as to why there was so much violence in the prison. So he interviewed the prisoners, and they said that, most of them said that it was because they got disrespected that they got angry and they got violent. So then he worked with the prisoners on self-respect and giving respect. The violence in that prison went down by over 90%. You have to get to the root of things, not just tackle them on the surface. And that's why we can't just fight with the mind, but we have to go back to our original identity. I just tell you another story where soul consciousness helps. One time I was leaving our center, and there was one brother. He came up to me. He said, he was very angry with me. He said, you know, you do this and this and this, it's not right, da 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 da. I just listened. I just said to him, I have love for you. You don't need to talk to me like that. He said, yes, but, you know, he was angry. Okay. I listened. Then I left. I walked home. I was just lived 2 minutes away at one of our bhavans. And I was thinking about what he said. Because I hadn't reacted, I could think clearly. And I thought, well, one of the things he says is right, and I should change that behavior. The other two things are actually his own mind. It's not really to do with me. I could see very clearly. But I really felt love for him. I didn't feel any animosity or anything. Next day, I was in my office, and I have a little office off the main office. And this person came in, and I could hear he was again complaining. And I couldn't hear what he was saying, but he was talking to others, complaining. Then he left. Then one of the sisters put her head round the door and said, did you hear what he was saying? So obviously same stuff about me. And I said, no, I didn't hear, but I don't need to know, it's okay. You know, because I hadn't reacted. Usually when you think someone's talking about you, what did they say? No, it's okay. Anyway, and I kept that love in my heart. Within the hour, he phoned me to apologize. He said, "I'm sorry. I'm very disgusted with myself. How could I talk to you like that?" And I said, "It doesn't matter. We've known each other a long time. Forget it." That was it. No tension in the relationship. If I'd have reacted even internally in my mind, there would have been tension in the relationship for some time. But I could learn something for myself, and he could learn something for himself. The importance, this is a peaceful lifestyle. It's a lifestyle where you learn, where you grow, where you understand. This is all part of what meditation is about. And so meditation is not just for sitting once a day, twice a day, or once a week. Meditation is a way of life, and it requires practice. And so practice, and then practice, and then practice. And when we practice meditation, we then, one is these thoughts of the eternal self. I am a soul, I'm a being of peace. And this calms the mind so much, gives such good feelings inside. And then of course, we need strength. You can be soul conscious to a certain extent, but then there are things that will cause you to come away from that. This world, we need a lot of strength in this world to live, right? To not be influenced by the negativity around us. Very strong influence, people, media, everything. And where do we get strength from? We get strength from our connection with the Supreme, with God. And here we understand the soul is a being of light, a point of light, tiny point of light, right? Infinitesimal, actually, a sparkling point in the center of the forehead. And the Supreme is the Supreme of all souls. All souls, human souls, we take birth and rebirth. We get strong, we get weak. Sometimes we do good, sometimes we don't do good. We collect our karmic accounts. How many karmic accounts have we collected over many births? You want to count? No, don't try and count, please. So we have all of this going on inside. But the Supreme Soul never comes into birth and rebirth. Always remains incorporeal, always remains divine, always remains complete. And it's because of that that we can connect, and we can gain strength, and we can be purified, and we can take away our karmic accounts, and we can transform within. We need that connection with God. And that people have gone away from God, right? And it's so important to connect. But in the last resort, people remember God, right? I'll tell you a joke. Shall I tell you a joke? There was an atheist, right? And he said, "No, I don't believe in God, that's it." And then he was walking, and the wind came, and he was swept off the cliff, off a cliffside. And there was one branch sticking out. So he falling, and he holds onto the branch. And he calls out, "Is there anybody up there? And a voice comes out, yes, my child. Save me, save me. And God says, do you have faith? Yes, yes, I have faith. And God says, if you have faith, then let go of the branch. And the man says, is there anybody else up there? But our faith actually does protect us. Because at that moment, with connection, with faith, we know what to do. I'll tell you 2 stories related to that. One is one of our senior brothers. He was in New York, and he was told that, that particular underpass, don't go there, it's dangerous. One day he was late for a meeting, and he decided, oh, it'll be all right, I'll just go. And he went, and then there were a group of young men, and they surrounded him. They didn't have good intentions. So then he just kept calm, kept his connection, didn't have fear, and he started to talk to them. Then he said to them, have you ever seen Indian dancing? They said, no, no. You want to see? Show us, go on. A big man, he's not done dancing in his life, starts doing. And then they're all watching, and then he runs away for him. He gets away. Found the method. And another story, these are true stories, really true stories. This was in South Africa. And we meditate at 4 a.m. in the morning. And there was one sister dressed in white. She was walking alone to the center early. And a man started following her. And she just kept walking. He kept following. Then he stopped her and he said to her, aren't you afraid? And she said, I would be if I was alive. Get it? The man ran like anything. True, really true story. So when you keep the connection, you get something. God's protection. Actually, there are many stories like that, but we don't have all evening to tell stories. But our connection, but the point is, our connection with God is so essential. And so when we meditate, we become soul conscious, and then we connect with the Supreme Soul, the ocean of love, the ocean of peace, the ocean of happiness. Because there are 5 qualities in the soul: peace, love, purity, happiness, and truth or wisdom. And these are reflections of what's in the Supreme, in God. But in God it's unlimited, so we can draw on those qualities from God and become strong. So the practice of meditation makes you strong, helps you to face the challenges, helps you to keep your mind calm, so that you can consciously produce the thoughts of your choosing. That's amazing. I can choose my thoughts and my feelings. This is very, very important in life. Okay, let me stop there and ask if there are any questions or comments. And we can have a meditation at the end. There's a microphone if anyone wants to ask anything. Yes, 2 questions. Dr. Friend and Singbai.
Om Shanti. If you just tell us something about how you meditate or about your spiritual effort or purusharth, what
Mas-
you do to get hold of your mind or
Well, okay, so question and my spiritual effort. I mean, this is really actually what I've been describing. But I always say to myself, I always want to stay in my self-respect and in my self-dignity. And dignity is very, very important, because then we can have a good life with dignity and we won't want to hurt others. And we can use our wisdom. So this is something I try to make sure. Of course, sometimes things happen, but I try to maintain that dignity and that self-respect and that connection. So, of course, I meditate every day. We start meditation at 4 a.m. Some of you meditate at 4 a.m. Some of you are new, so it's okay. We won't make you meditate at 4 a.m. yet, till you're ready. Between 4 and 4:45, meditation. Then we bathe, get ready. Then we come together for a spiritual class, meditate together, readings. So we begin the day with filling ourselves with spiritual teachings, good thoughts, meditating together. And when you're in a group together, you get extra vibrations. It's very, very helpful. To try and do these things on your own at home, you know, your mind will go here and there. You'll sit to meditate and you'll think, oh, I've got to put this away, oh, I've got to do the shopping, you know. But when you're in a spiritual center, that's why we have our centers, you can be focused. And then we also have what's called, because you need a top up, right? You begin the day with that spiritual input, whole day will go in a good way. But you need top up, and we have what's called traffic control. So once an hour, music will play and we will stop what we're doing at the center, but you can do it different ways wherever you are. And just stop what you're doing and just for 1 minute be with God, be soul conscious. Then come back to your work. And then in the evening, if we can, of course sometimes there are duties, responsibilities, evening meditation from 7 to 7:30. And then it's so important at night, just before you sleep, to be in meditation, even for a few minutes, to just look over the day and think, and this is what I do, what did I learn today? What was meaningful today? What was important today? Instead of looking at what went wrong today, what did I learn today? Very different attitude. And then I hand over all the burdens, hand over everything to God. We say to Baba, the Father, and then we sleep, so that the next morning you're fresh and you start your next day. And this is really a peaceful lifestyle. This is really a meditative lifestyle. And we don't sit quietly, we're very active. All of you are very active. Jobs, families, we're active in the... I'm active in so much administration where I am. You know, it's not just, you know, meditating all day out. That would be great. But these are the things that help you to do things in a peaceful way and to keep learning and growing. So yeah, thank you for the question. I think Singbai has a question.
Om Shanti. You just now mentioned that the soul has got 5 qualities. that is peace, love, purity, happiness, and truth. Normally here we are taught that the soul has got 7 qualities.
Oh, great. We'll add a couple more.
If you could just clarify this. And
So what are the extra 2 that you talk of here? Love and bliss. Well, bliss, happiness, love, that's included in the 5. Knowledge, power, okay. Yes, these are all with the soul. These are all with the soul. The result of the study of knowledge and meditation is power. That's the result. Power in the soul. So yes, the soul has power. So yes, all of these things are there. And of course, there are many things, because we have the qualities, and then we have the expression that comes from those qualities. So for example, from love, you will have compassion, you will have kindness. From peace, you will have tolerance, you will have clarity of mind, and so on. And we have the qualities, and we also have the powers. So this is something else that we learn about, and the powers come from being the embodiment, or being full of those 5, 7, 10 qualities. It's fine. But we talk about 8 powers, and these powers really help us in life. So first, the power to, and these powers are possible when you are soul conscious and when you're connected. Otherwise, you can't use these powers. So first, the power to discern, to understand truth from falsehood, right? That's very important. Today is a world of falsehood, fake news. AI is going to make it so much worse. We need the power to discern what is truth, what is falsehood, what is right, what is wrong. Then you have the power to decide or to judge, taking accurate decisions based on accurate discernment and accurate understanding. And actually these 2 powers are powers of the intellect, not the mind actually, but the intellect, because internally in the consciousness is the mind, is the intellect, and also the personality, or the sanskaras. So when my intellect is filled with knowledge and understanding, I will be able to discern and decide in the right way. And then you have the power, actually 2 powers connected very much with the mind. The power to withdraw. So we have the example here of the tortoise. And a tortoise will act, then withdraw its limbs. So we do what we have to do, and we have to think about things in the way we need to, but then we go within. We don't keep up. For example, just very simple, you have to go shopping. You think of your shopping list. You have to. Otherwise you'll get to the shop, you'll say, oh, what is it I need? But it's not that you have to keep thinking of the shopping list. What kind of this, what kind of that? So you withdraw. You then are economical with your thoughts. You know how to go within, back to that quality of this original state of the soul consciousness. And along with that, the power to pack up. We have many thoughts, but I need to be able to put a full stop to my thoughts when essential. Otherwise our thoughts will continue, and there's no end. So the power to withdraw and the power to pack up, very much the powers of the mind. Then there's the power to tolerate, and actually often we say this is the most important power because this is the power that enables us to use our virtues. So if you, those of you who know the illustration, and it'll be somewhere here, I'm sure, the power to tolerate, they show a boy, could be a girl of course, throwing stones at a fruit tree. And what does the tree do? It doesn't throw stones back at the boy, it gives its fruit. So actually the power to tolerate is not toleration, that's not tolerance. Power to tolerate is to give love, is to be benevolent in return. And why it enables us to use our virtues, I may be, for example, very sweet. Sweetness is a virtue. But then I come across somebody I don't like and I can't tolerate them. Where does my sweetness go? All the virtues, they need the power of tolerance so that you can maintain your virtues. And then you have the power to adjust. We need a lot of flexibility in life. We deal with many different personalities. Okay, no problem, not reactive, adjusting, accommodating to every situation. So you don't hold things inside. Someone insults you, okay, fine, it's gone. You accommodate, you adjust, you're flexible. And then the power to face, very much needed in this world. And sometimes, I know I don't like conflict situations, but sometimes I'm going into a situation and I say, okay Baba, power to face. You invoke the powers, and then it's not that we invoke the power one day and it comes next week, it has to come now. It's the power to face. So no matter what comes in front of us, I don't forget that I am an eternal soul. And then the power to cooperate. This is very important because nobody is isolated. We are all working in this world, but this is a world of competition. And when there's competition, then people get hurt. I want to move ahead by putting others to one side. That's not going to create cooperation, it's not going to create happiness. Because whatever I give out comes back to me like an echo. So the power to cooperate, giving respect, understanding, and cooperation comes naturally. So these are the 8 powers that we use in life, and they're very, very important. And this is very much part of a meditative or peaceful, of meditation for a peaceful lifestyle.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Thanks a lot. I'm referring to yesterday's Murli, when Baba said,
I think not everybody knows about Murlis. I think there's quite a lot of
No, I'm coming to the
people
point.
who are new
I'm
here.
just saying that
Yeah.
it was in the Murli. Baba said, remember me with mind and intellect
Yeah.
in the morning. So I request if you can enlighten on this more deeper or clarify how the role of the mind and intellect in remembering or practicing meditation.
Okay. So the intellect is that power that can discern, that can decide, that can also realize. Intellect is very important. So for example, you say, oh, now I understand. It's the intellect. Intellect is a very intuitive faculty. It's not about being intellectual. That's actually to do with the power of reasoning. But it's this, because ultimately, how do we take decisions? We may weigh up the options and think about things, but ultimately, It's our inner feeling that we follow and we take a decision, right? If you don't do that, you won't be able to take a decision that will make your heart comfortable. So when we learn about spiritual teachings, we are filling our intellect with knowledge. And that knowledge, that understanding, enables us then to have power over the mind. So what we have done today, if we've spoken about things, I've been explaining about the soul, about the connection with God. So now with that understanding, you can start to practice. So when your mind is in upheaval, like we were saying at the beginning, I can be kind to my mind. I have now a different understanding because my intellect has realized something. And it's only through that understanding of who is God, and that, but first actually the understanding of the soul, then the understanding of who is God, and then enabling the mind to go in the direction of that understanding, that we can then connect with God. Because God is on a very high vibration. God is the supreme. If I'm in the consciousness of my identity as a physical being, how can I connect? It's a bit like, having a wire with insulation. And until you remove the insulation, the current can't pass through the wire. But when I'm soul conscious, I'm in that vibration where I can connect to the Supreme. And so that's why understanding, then practice, takes us to God's remembrance. And the more you practice, the deeper the connection becomes. And the more then you feel, yes, God is with me, God is my protector, God is my friend, my beloved one. In all the faiths there's so much praise of God, right? So much praise of God. Why? Because God is so great. So yes, this is how we connect. Thank you. Okay, I think let somebody else ask a question. If
Just
and otherwise, I think better make this the last question.
So that means, summing up, we require both mind and intellect to remember.
Yes, of course.
Because the question was, how do we remember, with the mind or with the intellect? But it requires both of them.
It requires both. Yes, of course. Thank you.
Option.
Anyone else want to ask a question? Maybe time for one more question. That's it? Okay, everything clear? Time to practice? Okay, so let us have a few minutes of practice. So I sit here in this peaceful atmosphere, and I remind myself of who I am. For this, I take my thoughts away from all the external distractions. And focus within. And remember my true identity. I am a the soul. I'm the life energy that moves this body, my vehicle. But I'm not the body. The body is perishable, it will finish. But the soul is eternal. The soul belongs to God. So as I go deep within, I become aware that I'm light, and that my original nature is peace. I am a point of light, seated in the center of my forehead. I'm in a state of peace. And this peace from within cannot be taken away by anything external. It is part of me eternally. And in this state of peace, I go beyond. And I connect. I connect with the One Supreme Soul. The One who is eternally pure, eternally powerful, eternally knowledgeful. The light, I the light, the soul. Touch the light of God. And I go into the unlimited. Unlimited love. Unlimited peace. Unlimited truth. Unlimited bliss. I'm absorbed in that relationship, that connection. And I feel that divine energy of love filling the soul. God's love, God's peace, God's wisdom, uplifts me, transforms me. Gives me understanding and gives me strength. I'm filled with strength. Strength that will enable me to live in this world with goodness. Through my connection with the divine, many things of the past are healed with God's love. I become whole again. I belong to God. I'm God's child eternally. Gradually, I return to the awareness of my body, the room, my surroundings. Filled with peace, filled with love. And I understand what it is that I have to do. Om Shanti.
शांत स्वरूप, शक्ति स्वरूप, प्रेम स्वरूप में आत्मा हूँ। पवित्र स्वरूप, सुख स्वरूप, आनंद रूप में आत्मा हूँ, आत्मा हूँ। निराकार की मैं पहचान, बिंदु स्वरूप में परम पिता की मैं संतान, जो स्वरूप प्रेम स्वरूप मैं आत्मा हूँ। दीप में जैसे ज्योति है, सीप में जैसे मोती है, अंबर में जैसे तारे, फूलों में खुशबू होती है, भ्रिकुटी बीच में विराजमान, रूप अनूप में आत्मा हूँ। परम पिता की मैं संतान, ज्योति स्वरूप में आत्मा हूँ। शांत स्वरूप शक्ति स्वरूप प्रेम स्वरूप मैं आत्मा देह नहीं मैं देही हूँ, तन के गृह में गेही हूँ, शिव की प्यारी तन से न्यारी, आत्मा सभी की स्नेही हूँ, दिव्य गुणों की मैं हूँ खान, दिव्य स्वरूप में आत्मा हूँ। परम पिता की मैं संतान, ज्योति स्वरूप में आत्मा हूँ। शांत स्वरूप शक्ति स्वरूप प्रेम स्वरूप में आत्मा हूँ। ब्रह्म से मैं अवतार लिए, देह का मैं आधार लिए, सृष्टि मंच पर अभिनय करती मैंने जन्म कई बार लिए, साथी मेरा सर्वशक्तिमान, ज्ञान स्वरूप में आत्मा हूँ। परम पिता की मैं संतान, ज्योति स्वरूप में आत्मा हूँ। शांत स्वरूप शक्ति स्वरूप प्रेम स्वरूप में आत्मा हूँ। पवित्र स्वरूप सुख स्वरूप आनंद रूप में आत्मा हूँ, आत्मा हूँ। शांत स्वरूप शक्ति स्वरूप प्रेम स्वरूप में